What would you do if I told you that the Constitution that we see as the real and true Constitution today isn't actually what was ratified back in 80 something? And like to some people it's like, well, why does that matter, right? But it does matter actually a lot. Because so okay, most of it is actually just minor changes and it doesn't really matter. Basically what happened was there was an old version of the Constitution and a new version of the Constitution, okay? And the new version is what ended up getting signed in this Constitutional Convention, in like the second one where they ratified it, where the Founding Fathers signed it and, said that this is it, this is the real Constitution. But the thing is, they all had copies of the old version of the Constitution at that point that they were reading over while listening to the new one being read out. And again, it was like very minor changes, punctuation, capitalization, that kind of stuff. But anyway, so they signed this document. All of the states got the old version, though, to ratify. So all of the states that said, yes, this is what we want to use as a governing institution for the rest of forever, and they didn't know it at the time, but it's still around now, 200 years later, that was the old version of the Constitution that is different from the one that was signed, that everyone, decided that they were going to, say was the real thing, right? So anyway, fast forward to the Civil War, and we needed something to rally the troops toward as a country, to come together as a country to be like, hey, we're a union, we're a real country, we're a union of states. And that's when this Constitution resurfaced, right? But this is the new Constitution, the one that was signed. And so obviously it's got that prestige surrounding it where it's like, oh, this is the one that actually has all of the signatures of Benjamin Franklin and George Washington and James Madison, the people that actually wrote it and, ratified it and whatnot. It's got all of their signatures. So yes, it's got more importance that way. But the one thing that it also had was a little clause at the very end of the Constitution that said something, something, something in the year of our Lord, 17 whatever. That little clause has caused so much controversy within constitutional law now. Basically, there are some people that say, oh, they said the year of our Lord. Clearly, that means the Founding Fathers wanted religion to be part of the government, even though in the First Amendment it clearly states that they didn't, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, so that's part of the reason that in God we trust is in our currency. It's part of the reason why we take our vows with our hands on Bibles when we are, called to testify in court or anything. And that's part of the reason that there's this huge debate surrounding religion in the Constitution now, because of that one little clause that people have argued is technically part of the Constitution, even though it's very obviously removed from the Constitution. And the only reason all of this is happening is because we lost the older version of this Constitution that was actually the one that was ratified. So yeah, it actually makes a difference. And I think that's hilarious. I don't know, this is one of my favorite stories that I know about the Constitution now. But anyway, hope you learned something.